Hello, Peaceful Profits Nation. Jessica here with an exciting client spotlight episode for you today. Today, we are talking to our client, Randy Pryor. Randy has said that after retiring from a career as a professional entertainer and after 14 years of marriage and 2 kids, his wife suddenly told him that she didn't love him anymore and she filed for divorce. Randy says it was the single most painful thing he'd ever experienced, and he wanted to reconnect with his wife and repair their marriage, but she didn't. She immediately moved out, and Randy says that his little family was being ripped apart in front of him, and he had no idea what to do to change it. Fortunately, Randy's church had a support group for separated men, so he reached out for help and he put in the work. Randy says the Lord blessed him with hope, joy, and purpose. He got his life back, allowing him to start Hope for Separated Husbands in an effort to teach what he had learned and walked through himself. So since 2010, Randy has been helping separated men stop the pain, find hope for reconciliation in their marriage, or strength for the next chapter in their life. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. So to start out, can you tell me a little bit about your greatest recent business win?
Sure. The greatest recent business win would be launching the book. And that was about a month ago. And because it's going to help thousands of guys, thousands of separated husbands, right? And I had, and just a quick one, watch this. I just got over COVID. So I actually I launched the book and okay, that got rolling, that's fine. And then tested positive for COVID and I was down for the count, right? And yet, because this was already set up, I kept making sales. It was in the background, right? Like you set it up correctly. And book sales, order bumps, upsells, all of that kind of stuff was happening while I was down with COVID. And I tested negative a couple of days ago and then again yesterday. So I won't give it to you guys. I won't give it to anybody. But I had my first high ticket sale while I had COVID. So, and that was, a $5,000 sale for my coaching program. It used to be $3,500, but I knew as soon as I had the book launch and I had all this, the framework. And I've known for a long time this, my program is absolutely worth $5,000. It's worth $10,000. I mean, it's really, how do you put a price on getting your family back together? Learning what it takes to do that kind of stuff. So, and it starts with a little $5 book. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because even if that's all they buy, even if they spend $4.99, that can really help them because it's based on I've been doing this for 12 years and I can tell them what works and I can tell them what doesn't. And the hard part for guys is what does work is absolutely counterintuitive because we're taught you want to be a good husband, then you better become a good provider. That's kind of all we're taught, right? And then because we're males, God gave us the logic and the need to fix things. That's like in our DNA, but that's not what works in a separation. When a wife says, I'm out, I don't like how it is, and I can't imagine that it's ever going to change. She bails out, and then the guy tries harder, and that's not what works at all. Yeah. So even with the $4.99 book, I can, pass on some really good information, and they can get on the right path.
Yeah. So tell me, you came in to the program wanting to write your book and create your front end offer funnel. What were you doing before? You've been doing this for 12 years, you said, right? So obviously you've already been helping people for a long time. What was the change that happened between what you were doing before and then what you have been doing now since you've been a part of this program?
Yeah, I did have, I've been helping guys for 12 years, but mostly as a ministry through my church. And then at one point, a couple of years ago, I thought, well, I gotta, I want to hang up my shingle and do this for a living, right? And because profit is not a dirty word. And so I put this program together and it just kind of blew up and people loved it. And it was really successful as far as helping guys. And it was, at the most, it was $3,500. Sorry, my computer lets me know that I've just made another sale. Like, well, so I'll just keep you posted on that. It's very cool. It's very cool. Anyway, so I was doing the program, and it was a group kind of thing. But I had a webinar, basically. It was a presentation. And then I used Facebook ads to drive people to the webinar, and they would sign up for it. And I had lots and lots of phone calls. The problem is when it's a free webinar and it's a free phone call, I gave out hundreds of hours of free advice. And I liked it, but that's not sustainable. Right. And I always knew that a funnel was the way to go. I mean, I have been in internet marketing for quite some time. And the truth is, I could have done this on my own. Absolutely. I could have done this. And it would only take me about 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Because there's so many little pieces. And equally as important is the unknown. I don't know what I don't know. Right. And because Facebook changes every 25 minutes. Okay, it's now we got to do this. Now we got to do that. Now this is working, but that's not. And I thought, you know what? It would be really smart to hire the right people. This is one of my mottos: hire the right people and get out of their way.
Yeah,
that's my motto. So I thought, you know what? I really like, Mike, the whole Peaceful Profits idea. It's based on integrity. It's based on what's working, but you guys care about us clients. That makes all the difference. Yeah, there's lots of different gurus out there. There's lots of people doing this kind of stuff, but I hadn't found anybody with the kind of integrity that you guys had from day one, right? What Mike is talking about, and he only wants to help the guys that actually want to help other people, and that's in complete alignment with what I want to do.
Yeah.
So so I was doing a $3,500 group coaching, no funnel at all.
Right.
The Facebook ads would sometimes pay for themselves because I'd get enough clients, and sometimes they wouldn't. Before the book launch, I hadn't had a new client in over a month. That's not good.
Yeah. Right. Not very sustainable moving forward. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So, in writing the book and building your front end funnel, what challenges did you face along the way?
That's a great question. I think I faced a challenge at every single turn. I have plenty of content, whether it's a presentation that I've done, a Zoom meeting for a church, or a live presentation, whatever. I've got lots of content, and I wrote lots of blog posts and articles and all kinds of stuff. So putting all that together into a book, I thought, okay, well, I could get some help on this. And so I did, and I had to figure out is it a ghostwriter? Because they're not making the stuff up, they're just putting it all together. And as I don't know if you've heard this phrase, but everything takes longer than it takes and costs more than it costs. That's just the reality of it. So at least I knew that going in. I wasn't expecting to crank this book out in 14 days. That's just not realistic for me, right? Because I'm too much of a perfectionist, I guess. So, I had to, at every turn, and I thought, okay, well, if I join Peaceful Profits, then they've got the answers. That's what I'm looking for, because that's what shaves off all the time. So if I'm writing a book, I go see Tina, right? Said, okay. And I'm doing, and she gave me amazing feedback, right? So it was like, okay, do this and this and this, and then bring it back again. And I would, my book, ghostwriter, and I would put the stuff together and bring it back. Oh, this is so much better. Okay, now here's a couple of other ideas. A little bit too much of this, not enough of that. That whole thing. And it was just one step after the other. And then it was, okay, Facebook ads. Go talk to Leanna. Okay, go to the Q&As. And that's what's working for me. Even right now, if I've got a question about Facebook ads or whatever. Well, Leanna helped me put it together when it just plain wasn't working. And I always knew, okay, well, I'm special. and I mean that in business, I could do something exactly like I'm told, and it won't work.
Right.
And you go, okay, well, why doesn't it work? It works for everybody else. And even Leanna said, wow, I've never seen that before. Something you don't really want to hear, but okay. And so she basically took me by the hand, and we redid a lot of the stuff in the background, right? The code and some other stuff. I said, okay, I'm not a code monkey. I got people that work for me, but even they're kind of stumped. And it just plain wasn't working. So we tried this, we tried that. And then by the second or third thing that we tried, it started working. But okay, now it's
And this
working.
was all on the group Q&As that we have here as part of Peaceful Profits, right? Yeah. So Tina, our book writing coach, Liana, our ads and traffic specialist. Yeah. So all of those group Q&As are accessible, and you can go again and again and week after week and figure out what's wrong, but they'll really dig in. I don't know. I love our Q&A coaches because I feel like even when they get a lot of questions, I mean, they still really try to spend time and like dig in with individual people on their particular, whatever's going on right then, and they will work through that with you, even
that's
week after week.
And I keep coming back because that is the single reason why this is working. Because I would have come up against this Facebook wall and it's not working, and try this, and I already did try those things and it still wasn't working. So I'm at a loss. But with Leanna's help, it was like, okay, well, let's try this and try a Google Tag Manager instead of just the Facebook pixel. Okay, well, that was a mouthful right there for me. Let's try this. Okay, I've never done a Google Tag Manager, so she walked me through it.
Right.
Okay, and now it's working. Bottom line is, after I talked to her, now it's working. My book is 1,000 times better because of Tina's help. Could I do it on my own? Yeah. Would it have been as good? I doubt it.
Right.
So this is, I mean, the Q&A alone is worth the price of admission. That's the ticket.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. So I think you kind of have already said this a little bit, but how have things changed in your business since you created this paid front end offering rather than the free workshop webinar that you were advertising to before? I mean, obviously you have the high ticket sale that was even higher price than you were charging before, and you have book sales coming in as we're speaking, but what else has changed?
Well, I'm helping more guys.
Yeah.
Because all the freebie seekers, the tire kickers that were going through the free webinar, they have no intention of working on themselves. And that's the bottom line. It's one of the things that I say is a lot of the guys will come in and they say, well, how do I fix the problem? How do I change my wife? How do I get my wife back again? Right. And they think it's some magical thing about changing her. And, well, marriage is 50-50. And I kind of corrected myself. Actually, it's not. Marriage is 100-100. You just have nothing to do with her 100. You've got everything to do with your 100, right? And, phrases like from a wife, I have never heard a wife say, honey, thank you for showing me the error of my ways, right? Said no wife ever. And yet that's what they're thinking. What do I do to help her? Okay, you don't. And these little concepts are working. I mean, obviously they've been working for the 12 years I've been doing it, but they're finally getting it because they read it in a book. And I think it was Mike, who said first of all, they're 17 times more likely to book a call when they consume a book. But in addition to that, I think they actually understand the concepts better when they're reading a book as opposed to watching a presentation, basically watching a presentation with one eye and watching their email and their social media with the other eye. And the kids are crying in the background, and they're just not getting it. You can watch the presentation over and over, but you only have so much attention span, right? Bandwidth. But with a book, it's different. Book readers are a different clientele. And I've been getting some really great feedback, and guys, it just feels like they're getting it, right? And that's the whole idea for me. I want to help these guys because I made pretty much all the mistakes you could make, right? 12 years ago. Okay. So I want to pass that on. Here's what works. Here's what doesn't work. And so that's what's, the big deal for me is that the new book funnel, not only does it pay for itself. Yeah, I make a few $100 a week on the thing at this point, because I'm only spending $275 a day at this point. I started with $75 a day. Now I'm up to $275, and I'm sure that'll go up to 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or something.
How many books have you sold? Do you know?
To date, about 15 a day for the last month.
Amazing.
So I have COVID brain, so I'm not going to do math.
Yeah, no, that's okay. and it is breaking even now, or a little bit better than that.
A little better. Yeah, a little better than break even now. Yeah. I spent $275 today so far, according to Stripe. I will give you the up to the minute. Gross volume $436.89.
Amazing.
and it's 1:51 p.m. in the afternoon here.
Right.
So that's good. Yeah. Books, order bumps, upsells. So the funnel is working.
Yeah.
And, and like I've said, watch daily, judge weekly, because there's going to be days when I sell 4 books and that's all.
Right.
And I could be, concerned about that. But overall, on a weekly basis, yeah, I'm making more than I'm spending.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yep. That's very good advice. I know that the Facebook group members, other members of the group were appreciating that advice as well, because I've seen that before, where people get all freaked out over one day's sales, or it's only been 3 days since they started, their ads, and they're like, oh, what's going on? Yeah. So it takes time. It has to build momentum, and also, yeah,
sure.
Watch daily, but judge weekly is a very good mantra, I think. So wonderful. Let's see here. So we are at my favorite part of the client spotlight episodes. You are currently a client of ours. You've mentioned that you have worked to write your book. You've created your front end offer funnel. It's breaking even, which is amazing. So can you tell everybody what is your number one piece of advice that you would like to share with others who are working through that process, or who have the goal of wanting to work through this process that you've been working through?
Yeah, if the way I look at it is, what would I tell myself right before I made the decision? I would say, don't hesitate. I would say, reach out, get involved with Mike and the whole Peaceful Profits team, because like I said in the beginning, it's not just the right knowledge, it's integrity, it's the care, it's I can feel that you guys want me to succeed, and you guys will do pretty much anything you can to help me reach that goal. And that just feels better than a book or, hey, good luck to you. It's not a little help. It's as much help as I need. And, to me, that was worth every penny. And like I said, I'm sure I could do it myself. I'm sure I could. It would just take me 5 years to get to this point. And I don't want to do that. I want to help these guys right now.
Right.
And so it seems like I'm fully supported. And that's what I would tell anybody who wants to do this. Get involved and, beg, borrow, do whatever you need to do to get the money, but hire the Peaceful Profits team and let them help you at, whatever stage you are.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So how can our listeners, or if there's some husbands out there who feel like they might need your help, how can they find out more about you, or connect with you, or buy your book?
Oh, yeah. Well, it is $4.99. Yeah. The URL is sosreconnect.com. sosreconnect.com. And the website is hope, just the word hope, and then SH. It's hope for the number 4, sh.com. Like hope for separated husbands. Hope, the number 4, and the letters sh.com. And that's the basic website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your name of your book, by the way? I don't think we.
Yeah. The name of the book is the SOS Reconnection Method.
Yeah.
Yeah. SOS stands for, that's like the 3 steps, real basically. The first S is stop pushing her away. The O is open communication. And the last S is surround yourself with an accountability group. And that's what works.
Yeah. And that's what you teach in the book and in your program as well, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Randy. It was wonderful to talk to you, and I can't wait to see what else you're able to do as you continue in the program.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.